Thank you all. Please be seated. Siéntese. Buenas tardes. Gracias por la bienvenida. For those of you not from Texas, that means good afternoon. And thank you for the welcome. I want to talk about another important priority for our country, and that is helping our neighbors to the south of us build a better and productive life. On Thursday, Laura and I are going to leave on a trip that will take us to Brazil and Uruguay and Colombia and Guatemala y por fin Mexico. These are countries that are part of a region that has made great strides toward freedom and prosperity. They've raised up new democracies. They've enhanced and undertaken fiscal policies that bring stability. Yet despite the advances, tens of millions in our hemisphere remain stuck in poverty and shut off from the promises of the new century. My message to those trabajadores y campesinos is you have a friend in the United States of America. We care about your plight. This is an important speech for me today. It's a speech that sets out a direction for this country in regards to our neighborhood. That a former president gave such a speech 46 years ago this month. President John Kennedy spoke to ambassadors from across the Americas, this time in the East Room of the White House. He began by citing the early movements of independence in the Latin American republics. He invoked the dream of a hemisphere growing in liberty and prosperity. That's what he talked about 46 years ago. He proposed a bold new alliance for progress to help the countries of this hemisphere meet the basic needs of their people. Safe homes and decent jobs and good schools, access to health care. In the years since President Kennedy spoke, we have witnessed great achievements for freedom in this neighborhood. As recently as a generation ago, this region was plagued by a military dictatorship and consumed by civil strife. Today, 34 members of the OAS have democratic constitutions, and only one member country lives under a leader not of its people's choosing. From New York and Rio de Janeiro to Buenos Aires and Montreal, we speak different languages. But our democracies all derive their legitimacy from the same source, the consent of the governed. The expansion of freedom has brought our societies much closer. Today, the most important ties between North and South America are not government to government. They are people to people. And those ties are growing. These ties are growing because of our churches and faith-based institutions, which understand that the call to love our neighbors as ourselves does not stop at our borders. These ties are growing because of our businesses, which trade and invest billions in each other's countries. These ties are growing because of the outreach of our universities, which brings thousands of exchange students and teachers to their campuses. These ties are growing because of the estimated $45 billion that workers in the United States send back to their families in Latin America and the Caribbean each year, one of the largest private economic initiatives in the world. In all these ways, our two continents are becoming more than neighbors united by the accident of geography. We're becoming a community linked by common values and shared interests in the close bonds of family and friendship. These growing ties have helped advance peace and prosperity on both continents. Yet, amid the progress, we also see terrible want. Nearly 1 out of 4 people in Latin America lives on less than $2 a day. Many children never finish grade school. Many mothers never see a doctor. In an age of growing prosperity and abundance, This is a scandal, and it's a challenge. The fact is that tens of millions of our brothers and sisters to the South have seen little improvement in their daily lives. And this has led some to question the value of democracy. The working poor of Latin America need change, and the United States of America is committed to that change. It is in our national interest. It is in the interest of the United States of America to help the people in democracies in our neighborhoods succeed. When our neighbors are prosperous and peaceful, it means better opportunities and more security for our own people. When there are jobs in our neighborhood, people are able to find work at home and not have to migrate to our country. When millions are freed from poverty, societies are stronger and more hopeful. So we're helping to increase opportunity by relieving debt and opening up trade, encouraging reform, and delivering aid that empowers the poor and the marginalized. And the record of this administration in promoting social justice is a strong record and an important record. Social justice begins with building government institutions that are fair and effective and free of corruption. In too many places in the Americas, a government official is seen as someone who serves himself at the expense of the public good, or serves only the rich and the well-connected. No free society can function this way. Social justice begins with social trust. So we're working with our partners to change old patterns and ensure that government serves all its citizens. I want you to hear the words of a fellow from Nicaragua. He said, "We're so glad you're here. People around here are noticing that the United States is doing something for them." And my message to the man is, we're proud to do so, and we do so because we believe in peace and the dignity of every human being on the face of the earth. By helping our neighbors build strong and vibrant economies, we increase the standard of living for all of us. You know, not far from the White House is a statue of the great liberator Simón Bolivar. He's often compared to George Washington, Jorge W. Like Washington, he was a general who fought for the right of his people to govern themselves. Like Washington, he succeeded in defeating a much stronger colonial power, and like Washington, he belongs to all of us who love liberty. One Latin American diplomat put it this way: neither Washington nor Bolivar was destined to have children of their own, so that we Americans might call ourselves their children. We are the sons and daughters of this struggle, and it is our mission to complete the revolution they began on our two continents.